Welcome back to our channel. In today's video, we take a moment to remember the beloved American figures we have lost today and in recent days. The unforgettable presence of James Tolkan, the strength of Chuck Norris, and the quiet brilliance of Jessie Jones, alongside the heartbreaking story behind the Oscar-winning legacy and $375 million empire of Clint Eastwood. If these memories mean something to you, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to support us in creating more tribute stories like this. Thank you. And now, let's begin.
It's hard work, long hours. You have to be ready for strenuous work.
James Tolkan, the beloved character actor best known for his unforgettable role as the sharp-tongued Mr. Strickland in the Back to the Future franchise, has sadly passed away at 94. After his parents divorced, young James drifted through Chicago before finding his footing in Tucson, Arizona. He served in the U.S. Navy during the Korean War, then moved to New York City, studying under legends Stella Adler and Lee Strasberg. He earned his place on Broadway with the original cast of Glengarry Glen Ross. In 1973, Sidney Lumet cast him in Serpico alongside Al Pacino. Then came 1985, the year he pointed his finger at Marty McFly, called him a slacker, and made the whole world remember his name. The spotlight isn't always kind. There were long, quiet years without roles. James filled those empty spaces not with bitterness, but with beauty, collecting art piece by piece, then in 1996, building a home near Saranac Lake just to give those pieces a place to live. As recently as October 2025, at 93, he sat with fans at conventions, leaned in nose to nose, called them slackers, and smiled like he meant every word. Director Robert Zemeckis called him a magnificent actor and a joy to work with. He is survived by his wife of 54 years, Parmalee. What moment of James Tolkan stays with you? Drop it in the comments. He earned every memory.
The thing is, let's say you worry about a problem. So here you are worrying and all this stuff. All of a sudden the problem's solved.
Chuck Norris, the legendary action hero and martial arts world champion, best known for his iconic role in Walker, Texas Ranger, has heartbreakingly passed away at 86. Born in Ryan, Oklahoma, to Irish-American and Cherokee Native American parents, young Chuck grew up moving from state to state after his parents divorced. He found his footing not in a classroom, but on a training mat, discovering karate while serving in the U.S. Air Force in Korea in the late 1950s. He didn't just learn the art, he mastered it, retired as world karate champion, and founded his own martial arts system. It was his student Steve McQueen who encouraged him to pursue acting, and that quiet nudge changed everything. In 1972, he stepped onto the screen opposite Bruce Lee in The Way of the Dragon and never looked back. Through the 1980s, he became the face of American toughness in Missing in Action Delta Force and Lone Wolf McQuade. When the film roles slowed, he didn't fade. He pivoted. In 1993, Walker, Texas Ranger gave him 8 seasons and introduced him to an entirely new generation. But his quietest legacy lives off-screen. In 1990, alongside President George H.W. Bush, he founded Kickstart Kids, bringing karate and character into middle schools across Texas. A sheriff with 35 years in law enforcement called it the most effective crime prevention program he had ever seen. His family shared that he was surrounded by loved ones and at peace. What's your favorite Chuck Norris memory? Leave it below. The granite was never tough enough for him.
Of Hoover's life, first place, he's famous for his idiosyncrasies.
Breaking news, but not the kind you expect. Clint Eastwood, The man whose quiet stare, measured voice, and unshakable presence defined generations of American cinema is still here in 2026, still working, still creating. And yet, behind that image of absolute control, there has always been another story, one far more fragile than most people ever saw. Do you remember the first time you watched him? That slow, deliberate calm. The sense that nothing could rattle him. What if that same man was carrying a lifetime of moments that almost did? To understand Clint Eastwood, we have to go back. Back to 1930 California. Not a life of poverty, but a life without direction. He struggled in school, failed early, drifted from one job to another, fixing engines, working with his hands, searching for something he could not yet name. And there was a quiet restlessness in him, the kind that doesn't go away. Then came 1951. A military aircraft plunged into the ocean, cold water, darkness, silence. He swam. More than 2 miles, through freezing, shark-infested waters. Every stroke a fight against exhaustion, against fear, against the growing weight pulling him under. He would later call it stark terror. It was not just survival. It was a moment that carved something permanent into him. A quiet intensity that would follow him for the rest of his life. By 1955, Hollywood seemed like a chance. Instead, it rejected him. Universal Studios dropped him after just 18 months. They said his Adam's apple was too big, his tooth distracting, his voice too slow. Everything that would later define him was once seen as a flaw. Most people would have changed. Yet Clint Eastwood didn't. He kept the stillness, the silence, the voice, and slowly, the world adjusted. His early break came with Rawhide, but the real shift came in 1964 with A Fistful of Dollars. A small film, a risk, no guarantee. So he built the character himself. The hat, the poncho, the presence, the man with no name wasn't given to him. He created it. By 1971, with Dirty Harry, he had become something more than an actor. He became a symbol, law, control, justice. A man who never hesitated. For decades, that image held strong. In 1992, Unforgiven redefined the Western and earned him an Oscar. In 2004, Million Dollar Baby proved that his voice as a filmmaker was only growing deeper with time. While others faded, he evolved. While others slowed, he sharpened. But behind that success, another life was unfolding. In 1989, and the armor cracked. A public courtroom battle with Sandra Locke exposed parts of his private life he had kept hidden for years. The world saw something unfamiliar. Not the controlled figure on screen, but a man forced to stand still as his personal life unraveled in public. Then came a quieter, deeper shock. A daughter, Lori, given up for adoption at birth. For 64 years, he did not know she existed. No birthdays, no first steps, no memories. Just a lifetime of absence, revealed all at once. There are moments in life that cannot be repaired, only carried. And he carried it. Years passed, and eventually something changed. In his later years, he found a kind of peace that had eluded him for decades. Not in fame, not in success, but in quiet companionship. Christina Sandera. For 10 years, she was stability, calm, and a life away from the noise. And then in 2024, she was gone. Suddenly, cardiac arrhythmia, a clinical explanation for a loss that had no simple words. At 94, Clint Eastwood faced something no role had prepared him for: grief that could not be controlled. Those close to him saw it. The change came quickly. His frame grew thinner. His posture, once straight and steady, began to bend under a weight no one could see. The man who had once walked into every room with quiet authority now moved slower, more carefully, as if carrying something heavy with every step. For a moment, people believed this was the end. That time had finally caught him. But they misunderstood something fundamental about Clint Eastwood. He does not stop. He never has. And he did not start then. Just months after that loss, at an age when most would retreat, he returned to work. Not in front of the camera, but behind it. Juror number 2. At 94 years old, he stood on set again, focused, precise, uncompromising, no wasted motion, no hesitation, 1 or 2 takes, the same discipline that had defined him for decades. Those around him watched in disbelief. This was not a man simply continuing. This was a man refusing to surrender. Because for Clint Eastwood, creating was never just a profession. It was how he endured, how he moved forward when standing still would have meant facing everything he had lost. And something else changed too. Family. For much of his life, distance defined his relationships. But in his later years, that distance softened. Surrounded by his children, including Lori, and a growing circle of grandchildren, he found something quieter, but no less powerful. A different kind of strength, one that did not need to prove itself. Today, in 2026, nearing 96, Clint Eastwood lives in Carmel by the Sea, the same coastal town where he once served as mayor, the same place where the ocean stretches endlessly outward. He moves slower now. Time has left its mark. His body is not what it once was, but his mind remains sharp, focused, defiant. His legacy spans decades, films that defined eras, stories that shaped generations, a career built not on perfection, but on persistence. And through it all, one simple philosophy has guided him. Don't let the old man in. Not a line, not a performance, a decision, every single day. So when you think of Clint Eastwood, what stays with you? The cowboy, the detective, the legend, or the man who kept standing even when the weight became too much to carry? Because somewhere in that memory is the reason he still matters. The world got a little less funny on March 20th. Jessie Jones, beloved actress, playwright, and the most produced female playwright in America, has passed away at 75 after a long illness. She grew up in the rural panhandle of Texas, where the odds were never in her favor. But even then, something in her refused to stay small. A speech contest win in high school carried her all the way to Washington, D.C., and she never stopped moving forward. After graduating from the University of Texas at Austin, she made her way into living rooms across America, guest starring in Murphy Brown, Night Court, Newhart, and Perfect Strangers. If you watched television in the 80s and 90s, chances are Jessie Jones made you laugh without you ever knowing her name. When the acting roles slowed, she didn't grieve the silence. She filled it with words. She turned to playwriting, co-created Dearly Departed, and built something no one could take from her. Alongside partners Jamie Wooten and Nicholas Hope, her plays have been performed over 100,000 times on stages around the world. Through years of quiet illness, she kept writing, kept giving. That kind of devotion doesn't come from ambition alone. It comes from love. Jessie was an unbelievably talented and kind woman, her partner Jamie Wooten said. Her life's work will continue bringing laughter to theaters around the world. She made the world laugh. Do you remember a show, a moment, a character that made you smile because of her? Leave it below. She earned every one of those smiles.
O'Hara dancing to Harry Belafonte in Beetlejuice. Show them O'Hara hurting her knee.
Catherine O'Hara, the legendary Canadian actress and comedic icon best known for Home Alone and Schitt's Creek, has sadly passed away on January 30th, 2026, after a brief illness. Her representative confirmed to People, "The world feels a little quieter now, a little less full of laughter." Her journey began on the Second City stage in the 1970s, a place where instinct mattered more than perfection, and she had it. By the 1980s and 1990s, she had already become a familiar face in American homes through films like Beetlejuice, 1988, and Home Alone, 1990. Years passed. Trends changed. Faces came and went, but she remained. Then, in 2015, something rare happened. She didn't fade. She returned. With Schitt's Creek, 2015 to 2020, her Moira Rose was not just a role, it was a reinvention, a reminder that true talent doesn't age, it waits. And in her final years, she faced a quiet illness. No headlines, no spectacle, just time, moving gently forward. And still, her work, her voice, her laughter stayed with people. She was the greatest, Dan Levy said, and maybe that's what makes this loss feel so shared. Like, we've lost someone we somehow knew. So tell me, when you think of Catherine O'Hara, what moment still makes you smile? Because those moments are still hers.